We're going to continue on talking about percents. This is day one of a two-part series, part of a whole as percent. So an example you start with, as a percent, how does the value of a nickel compare to the value of a dollar? Well, a dollar is a dollar and a nickel is 5, so that would be 5 cents out of 100. But as a percent, that would be 5%. So a nickel would be 5% of a dollar. There's three parts to every problem. The part, which is the portion of the whole we're talking about, the percent, which is a number expressed in relation to 100, and the whole, which is the total amount or in all. So for every problem, no matter how it's worded or what it looks like, there's three parts to it: the percent, the part, and the whole. If we can discern between those three parts, we can set up an equation every single time. So what is the whole in each scenario? 15 is what percent of 90? 15 is the part, 90 is the whole, and we'll talk about that in a second. What number is 10% of 56? So we're trying to find the part here, and we know that the whole is 56. 90% of a number is 180. So that 180 represents 90%. It is not the whole, because the whole would be 100%. So the whole is a number that happens to be missing. So where it says a number. A bag of candy contains 300 pieces. 25% of the pieces in the bag are red. So the whole would be 300 pieces. 70% of the students earned a B on the test. So the whole would be the total class, or all students. And the part would be the 70% of them. The 20 girls in the class represented 55% of the students in the class. So the 20 girls were only 55% of them, not all. So the whole would be the whole class. Now if you notice in the first few questions, the word of was attached to the whole. Now these three questions are a little differently worded, so the whole is different, but if you notice, the word of is attached to the whole in those three. Read each problem, complete the table to record what you know. The percent, that's 40%. That tells me right there in the problem. 40% of the students on the field trip love the museum. If there are 20 students on the field trip, so that's the whole, there's 20 students, how many love the museum? The part is what's missing, so we'll call that X. 40% of the students on the field trip love the museum, so 40%. If 20 students love the museum, so the 40% represents the 20. So that would be the part, and the whole this time is not known, so that would be X. 20 students on the field trip love the museum. If there are 40 students on the field trip, so the whole is 40, that's how many students total are on the field trip. 20 is the part that love the museum, and the percent is not known. So the way it's worded and all the time, your job, the hard part is deciphering what the part, the percent, and the whole is. Once we can discern between those things, then we can set up what is called the percent equation, where it's on the next page. The part that you're talking about depends upon the percent of the whole. So the part equals the percent, which is written in decimal form. So we give it to it as a percent, we get rid of the percent symbol, move the decimal 2 places to the left, times the whole. So in question number 3, 15 is what percent of 60? Notice that word of, that's the whole. So 15 equals the percent, X, times 60. So that would be my equation. I'm going to solve for X by dividing by 60 on both sides. So 15 over 60 is 1/4, which is 0.25 equals X. This is not written as a percent yet. If I move the decimal place 2 places over to the right, I get 25%. Number 4, what number is 10% of 60? So I know the whole is 56. I don't know the part, so that's x. 10% written as a decimal is 0.10 times the whole, which is 56. So 0.10 times 56 is 5.6 would be my answer. Number 5, 90% of what number is 180? So 180 is the part, which represents 90%. So I'm going to write that as a decimal, 0.90, times x, which is the whole, and I don't know that. So I'm going to solve for x. I need to get rid of 0.90 by dividing on both sides. This is just algebra, what we did already. And when we do that, 180 divided by 0.9, we get 200 is my whole. Number 6, in Ty's English class, 70% of the students completed an essay by the due date. So 70%. There were 30 students in his English class. That's the whole, and that's the percent. So the part, how many students completed it, we don't know. That's, remember, we're going to write the percent as a decimal, so 0.70 times the whole, which was 30. If I do that, I get 21 students. So 21 of the students completed the essay by the due date. A bag of candy contains 300 pieces. That's the whole. 28% are red. How many pieces are red? So that's the part. So x equals 28% as a decimal. That's 0.28 times the whole, which is 300. I forgot to bring my calculator with me, so I'll do this real quick. 0, 0, 2, 4, 0, 0, 6. So 84 pieces are red. So 84 represents 28% of 300. So we're going to do a lot more with this. This is the easiest way to go about doing this. We'll get better at this. We'll spend a couple days actually doing this and deciphering which means which.